you all for joining us this evening for this online education session. My name is Jill Cormier, the Inclusion and Family Support Coordinator within the Central Office located in Halifax, and I am pleased to be one of your moderators for this evening. Willa Cray, our Autism Support Coordinator in Pictou County, will be overseeing the conclusion of this presentation. I am joined tonight by my colleagues from 9 Autism Nova Scotia chapters across the province. As a team, we have collaborated to plan and deliver these education sessions, which is open to autistic individuals, families and caregivers of the person with autism, and professionals. This session is being recorded and will be posted to the Autism Nova Scotia YouTube channel, and you can search it using YouTube and type in Autism Nova Scotia to see our past education sessions as well. We encourage you to check out the past topics that we have offered and share those with your networks. So tonight's education session is on the topic of employment resources and supports. We hope that by attending tonight's presentation, participants will learn about employment programs to support person-directed future planning for individuals with autism. So we have 2 co-presenters for this evening. The first one, Jessica McKeel-Mitchell, is an employment support coordinator at Autism Nova Scotia. Jessica started working with at Autism Nova Scotia during her final co-op education placement during her undergraduate degree 3 years ago and continued in that role after she graduated. Jessica is currently completing her master's degree in professional education with the focus of applied behavior analysis. During her time at Autism Nova Scotia, she has worked with teens and adults in a variety of pre-employment programs. Jessica is passionate about supporting individuals to accomplish their goals and achieve enhanced employability. Hannah Tinkle is an employment support coordinator at Autism Nova Scotia. Following her move to Nova Scotia 3 years ago, Hannah has been working with Autism Nova Scotia to provide employment-related supports to autistic individuals through a diverse portfolio of programs, including support in employment coaching, pre-employment programming, job searching, and employer training. Her working career has been focused on providing supports to individuals with disabilities through recreational, residential, and employment settings. With a background in education, Hannah is passionate about providing individualized supports in a collaborative and inclusive setting. So before we begin, there are just a few housekeeping items. So our presentation will be about an hour in length, followed by a question and answer period. Cameras will be turned off and mics will be muted during the course of this presentation. However, participants will have the opportunity to ask questions using the Q&A function, and someone from our panel will answer those questions at the end of our presentation. We also appreciate any comments that you would like to share throughout the presentation as well. So with all that being said, I'm going to turn it over to these 2 lovely ladies, Hannah and Jess.
All right, thank you so much, Jill. So we'll start the presentation here and talk about employment and supports. So our agenda for this evening, we'll talk about Employment Works first, then we'll move to the Autism Works Launchpad program. Next, we'll talk about Career Quest, and finally, we'll talk about employment coaching and supports. Just a note about Autism Nova Scotia's Employment Department before we begin. So within the Employment Department at Autism Nova Scotia, we strive to support individuals with autism through their employment journey to gain meaningful paid employment. Programs and services within the Employment Department focus on supporting individuals in gaining independence in the various steps of the employment process, some of which include pre-employment skills, job searching, interviews, gaining and maintaining employment, as well as job retention. We would just like to note that we recognize that there's a need for autism-specific employment supports across the province. Our employment supports are not offered at all our chapter locations. However, we are working hard to grow and expand our supports. If you or anyone you know are interested in employment supports through Autism Nova Scotia, please contact your local chapter expressing this interest. In the meantime, we encourage you to reach out to your local Nova Scotia Works Employment Agency for employment support. So we'll start by going through some areas that we focus on in the employment department. The first is natural supports, so identifying natural supports that exist within an individual's life already before entering a pre-employment program. We also focus a lot on independence, so we want to support individuals so that they can be independent, but providing just enough support so that they're independent. We also focus on person-centered and individualized approach. We always communicate directly with the individual and work with them to achieve their goals. And it is their decision how involved they want family and friends in that journey. We work a lot on self-management, as well as direct access instead of socially mediated access. So for example, in a work environment, ensuring that the individual has the skills to go directly to their supervisors or coworkers and not access what they may need through one of our staff members in the employment department. We also take into consideration each individual's experiences and learning histories when they come into the program. We really focus on adult perspectives through our teaching throughout all of our programs. And ultimately, we strive to build success and embrace failures as learning opportunities. So we'll start tonight by going through the Employment Works program. So the Employment Works program is an evidence-informed program that offers employment preparedness training and support, combined with job sampling and hands-on experience to adults with autism. The program is designed for individuals who want to enter or return to the workforce and who are willing to develop and practice the skills necessary to obtain meaningful and sustainable employment. The program incorporates pre-employment hard skills and social soft skill activities during each program session. What is Employment Works? So Employment Works serves adults with autism who are 15 to 64 years old and who are out of high school. We accept 4 participants into the program at a time, and there's no cost to participate in the program. So now we'll talk about the history of Employment Works. So Employment Works is part of a national project that was run in Halifax from 2015 to 2018 called Worktopia. Currently, the Employment Works program is part of a national project funded by the Government of Canada between 2019 and 2022. So basically what that means for Autism Nova Scotia is that we were able to expand the sites that we offer the Employment Works program. So currently we offer the program in the Annapolis Valley, Truro, and Pictou County. So here's a visual of the different locations that we offer the program. As I mentioned, Annapolis Valley, Truro, and Pictou County. Now we'll talk about the structure of the Employment Works program. So the program is divided into 2 phases. So I'll start with the first phase. The first phase at the Employment Works program is a commitment of 5 hours a week for 12 weeks. So that consists of 2 days a week for 2.5 hours each day. This phase is made up of 2 components. The first, structured learning, and the second, work experience. Structured learning sessions. So for structured learning sessions, all participants attend these sessions once a week for 2.5 hours. These sessions include discussions, activities, visual learning, and opportunities to work in a team and independently with the support of a facilitator. Participants receive worksheets and handouts throughout the program to support their learning. These are some pictures of past participants that have been involved in the Employment Works program. As you can see from the pictures, there is quite a bit of interaction, role play in these sessions. Some of the topics that we cover during the structured learning sessions consist of resume building, creating a cover letter, tailoring a resume and cover letter to a job searching, interview preparation and expectations, advocating accommodations and workplace supports, unwritten rules and expectations of the workplace, relationships in the workplace, anxiety at work, and quite a few other topics as well. I'll talk about work experience sessions. So work experience sessions are 2.5 hours. The group is split into 2 smaller groups for these sessions. So 2 people attend on one day, for example, a Wednesday, and 2 attend on another day, for example, a Thursday. One facilitator will be present each day to provide support. Each participant will sign up for one of these days at the beginning of the program and will attend work experience on that day only for the duration of the program. For work experience sessions, we aim to partner with a minimum of 4 employers within the community to job shadow and learn what tasks they complete on a day-to-day basis. These sessions allow participants to see what responsibilities are involved with certain jobs and decide whether they like the job or not. This helps to inform participants of jobs that they want to apply to and jobs that they don't want to apply to in the future. Participants can list these work experiences on their resume. This is an example of what this schedule might look like for the program. So for example, structured learning sessions, that's where the entire group attends. They may be 9 to 11:30. And then, for example, if an individual chooses Thursday as their work experience session, they may attend in the afternoon from 1 to 3:30. Here's some more photos of past participants at different work sites. So we try to go to a variety of different work sites. So for example, retail, grocery, as well as outdoor and seasonal work, if the weather permits. Now we'll move into phase 2 of the program. The final phase of the program supports the transition from weekly programming to active job seeking and employment. Each participant will have the opportunity to participate in our remote job searching group called CareerQuest. Hannah will talk about CareerQuest later on in this presentation. So the eligibility criteria for the Employment Works program, individuals with autism, ages 15 to 64, individuals who are out of high school or a returning graduate who has a schedule that can accommodate the hours of the program, unemployed or underemployed. So underemployed would classify as 15 hours or less a week, not currently participating in another program funded through the Opportunity Fund for Persons with Disabilities, not receiving employment insurance, have not previously completed 50% or more of the Employment Works program, able to commit to phase 1 and phase 2 of the program, and finally motivated to seek employment. And we are currently recruiting for our upcoming cohort that will take place in the spring in the Annapolis Valley.
Okay, so I'm going to
Hannah.
Thanks, Jess. I'm going to talk a little bit about Launchpad, which is our another pre-employment program. You'll probably notice quite a few similarities between the Launchpad program and the Employment Works program that Jess just chatted about, but we are going to have a slide that kind of demonstrates the differences between the two of them. So Launchpad is a 12-week pre-employment program for adults on the autism spectrum who want to get ready to enter the workforce for the first time, re-enter the workforce, or enroll in post-secondary education, so university and college. It's for adults who are out of high school, age 17 and older. It is also available for individuals who are returning graduates, like Jess mentioned. So they may have graduated from grade 12 and are going back to school for their final or for their next year and have a schedule that can accommodate the Launchpad program as well. And Launchpad provides a supportive environment for adults on the spectrum to build and develop skills that can be transferred into a workplace or into post-secondary education. So it's a great program for adults who have never worked before, who have worked before and want some more support re-entering the workforce, and are getting ready to enter post-secondary, or are graduating from post-secondary and getting ready to enter into their career after their post-secondary education. Launchpad has a time commitment of 7 hours a week. And if a participant becomes employed during the program, they no longer need to attend the program unless it fits within their schedule and they would like to complete the program. So we've had both. Some individuals might get hired in Launchpad and their schedule doesn't work to continue. We can offer additional supports around that to make sure that you're still learning the content that would have been delivered in Launchpad. Or if it works to fit Launchpad within your schedule, then individuals can still attend as well. So a little bit of the history of Autism Works Launchpad. So it's been a program that's actually been offered in Halifax since 2011. And as a result of the program's success over the years, we've recently expanded to Sydney. So we're really excited about that expansion to Sydney. We're currently in our first cohort of Launchpad, and there will be a second cohort in the Sydney area coming up in the future. We'll get into dates a little bit later on as well. The program has operated with the generous financial support of the Department of Labor and Advanced Education since 2016. So just our two sites here where we're offering Launchpad. So we offer Launchpad in Halifax, and that's available for anyone in the HRM area that can access our program in our Bedford office. And it's also offered in Sydney as well. So we'll go through the structure of Autism Works Launchpad. It's made up of 4 components. So structured learning sessions, work experience sessions, one-to-one sessions with a facilitator, and the Pearl work experience sessions. So we'll start with structured learning. It will sound quite similar to what EW structured learning looks like, or employment works, I should say. So all participants attend these sessions once a week for 2 hours from week 1 to 5. And then we increase the time to 2.5 hours from week 6 to 12. That extra half an hour accommodates for 30 minutes of job searching after each session in the second half of the program. The sessions include discussions, activities, visual learning, opportunities to work on a team and work independently. There are 2 facilitators present to provide support as well. And then that week 6 to 12 are those sessions that include an additional 30 minutes of job searching. Participants will receive worksheets and handouts as well as online opportunities as well if somebody doesn't feel comfortable with handwriting or with kind of physical workshops, worksheets, they will have access to online worksheets as well. So these are some pictures from our Launchpad program. Lots of opportunities for hands-on practice, for role play, for discussion, group activities, and opportunities to work on your own as well. So we cover many of the same topics as Employment Works program, resume building, cover letter, tailoring that resume and cover letter, job searching, interview prep and expectations, advocating and asking for accommodations or workplace supports, unwritten rules and expectations of the workplace, relationships at work, anxiety, and then, of course, many more topics as well related to accessing and retaining employment. So during our one-to-one sessions, they occur once a week for 1 hour, and each participant signs up at the beginning of the program for a 1-hour meeting time, and they continue to attend weekly at that same time for all weeks of the program. The meetings focus on the participants' individual goals and what we're working on that week as well. So there's one facilitator that's present during those one-to-one sessions. They're a great opportunity to work on those individualized employment goals and get some additional supports to help individuals meet those employment goals. Work experience sessions are sessions that last 2 hours long. The group will be split into 2 smaller groups for these sessions. So between 3 to 4 people attend on one day. So for example, they might attend a work experience session on Wednesday, and then the other half of the program, the other 3 to 4 participants will attend on the other day. 2 facilitators are present each day to provide support in the workplace. You'll sign up, or the participants will sign up for one of these days at the beginning of the program and will attend work experience on that day for the duration of the program. So if you've signed up for Wednesdays, you would continue to attend the program on Wednesdays. And we've just got a video here that shows the Pearl work experience sessions, just to start it off there. It sounds like we might be having some technical difficulties there with the audio. So I'm going to move past this slide right now, and we'll come back and hopefully be able to get that video to work later on. But I'm just going to kind of move past that. Those were some examples of participants explaining the Pearl work experience session and what kind of skills and things that they've learned during that program. Or during that portion of the program. But I can explain quickly kind of what the Pearl looks like. So the Pearl is Autism Nova Scotia's social enterprise. It's gained the reputation for high quality, affordable jewelry made by individuals who have autism and or friends and family. So with the Pearl, all of the proceeds are go directly right back into Autism Nova Scotia to support our programs and services that we offer. So again, I'm just going to move past this, and maybe we'll have time at the end to view that video. So these sessions with the Pearl take place once a week for 1.5 hours. So during the Pearl work experience sessions, participants in our in-person sessions, when we're running the Pearl for our in-person programs, learn customer service skills, learn everything kind of behind what it would look like to work in retail, time management skills, professional relationships at work, and working with a supervisor. When we're running our Pearl sessions online, and we'll talk a little bit more about that transition from in-person to online, participants create product promo videos for the Pearl to post on their social media, as well as get experience with customer service and navigating customer service online. So participants also learn about products and customer service, responding to customer inquiries and comments on social media platforms and email. When we're offering the Pearl work experience virtually, participants earn 25% commission on every sale that they make. And they also get a discount to make their own purchases if that's something that they would like as well.
So now we'll just talk a little bit about the differences between work experience and the Pearl work experience. So for work experience, that's where we partner with local businesses, and they take place for 2.5 hours per week. And we really aim to partner with 3 to 4, with each business for 3 to 4 weeks. And we aim to complete a variety of tasks within the workplace. In contrast, the Pearl work experience partners with the Pearl Autism Nova Scotia's social enterprise. And these sessions take place for 1.5 hours weekly. And this work experience is ongoing throughout the whole program. And all proceeds from each sale from the Pearl go directly into our programs and our services at Autism Nova Scotia.
Awesome. So this is an example of the Launchpad schedule. So structured learning might take place on a Monday from 9 to 11:30. On Wednesdays, a participant might go to their one-to-one session from 9 to 10:30, and then work experience session maybe from 2 to 4. And then on Fridays, they may have their online work experience session from 2 to 3:30. So this is an example of the weekly time commitment that participants may have when they come into the Launchpad schedule or Launchpad program. Here are some pictures of participants and their in-person work experience with the Pearl. So we will work in various places like farmers markets, storefronts, or other events as well. So it looks like we can play the video again. We're going to try using it through a separate file so that you can get a chance to hear from the participants in the program.
Well, the pearl is jewelry handmade by people who have autism or their friends and family. 100% of the proceeds go directly back to Autism Nova Scotia to support our programs.
The pearl has helped me gain confidence in the workplace and with talking with customers.
What makes me proud of what I've accomplished at the Pearl is the fact that I've been able to understand body language a lot more while being here.
What I'm most proud of about learning at the Pearl is knowing how to talk to the customers. By reading that script over there, I learned how to talk to the customers when I was reading the script for my first day here at the Pearl.
So I've learned how to manage customers when it's busy.
What I am most proud of is giving up some of our oldest products, replacing them with new ones, as well as welcoming so many customers to our store.
Most definitely being more comfortable working in a public environment like this.
Awesome. So that's just some of the experiences and things that participants may gain while they're working or completing their work experience with the Pearl. So we're going to take a look at the Launchpad pre-employment program. This video may experience the same technical difficulties, so if it does, I'll just move past it and we may be able to come back to it again at the end. Okay, sounds like our audio is still having a tricky time, so I'm going to move past that and we'll talk about eligibility criteria for Launchpad. So individuals who come into the program must identify as having autism, are 17 years and older, are out of high school or returning graduate that has a schedule that can accommodate the hours of the program. They haven't previously completed Autism Works Launchpad. Participants are able to commit to the program schedule in its entirety. They're either underemployed or unemployed, so they're working 15 hours a week or less. And with Autism Works Launchpad, there are no restrictions for participants accepting any kind of income assistance or other financial support to be able to participate in the program.
So now we'll go through the differences between Employment Works and the Autism Works Launchpad program. We know that they are quite similar. So for Employment Works, we accept 4 participants into each cohort, whereas the Autism Works Launchpad program, the Sydney location accepts 6 participants at a time and Halifax accepts 8 participants at a time. Employment Works is comprised of 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2. And Autism Works Launchpad is comprised of 1 phase. And finally, Employment Works does not partner with Autism Nova Scotia's social enterprise, the Pearl, whereas Autism Works Launchpad in both Sydney and Halifax does partner with the Pearl. And we'll just touch on online delivery during COVID-19. So the Employment Works program and Autism Works Launchpad programs, the curriculums have been adapted to support online delivery during the COVID-19 pandemic. Virtual employment simulations are completed in place of in-person work experience. And basically what the employment simulations are, they are jobs that participants can practice completing online. So we have a variety of different employment simulations that we have access to that allow individuals in the program to see what it's like to work in different career sectors. These virtual sessions take place using Zoom video conferencing software.
Okay, so upcoming dates for Launchpad, we're currently offering a program both in Halifax and Sydney that's underway, and we'll be recruiting for both locations for April 2021, so a new start date in April. So if you or someone you know is interested, they can definitely connect, and we'll kind of tell you how to do that at the end to get involved with the program. So now we're going to talk about Career Quest, which is our job searching group at Autism Nova Scotia. So Career Quest is a supported job searching group where job seekers develop and apply their job searching skills with that goal of gaining paid employment. So we consider this a group and not a program, as we have what we call a revolving door intake process. It means that if you come into Career Quest and gain employment, and then later need to reaccess Career Quest to gain employment again, you're able to do that. And it also doesn't have a specific start and end date. So we don't run it at certain times. It runs throughout the year, and you're able to join as we have space within the program. It's considered a post program or a post group, which means that individuals who come into Career Quest already have some pre-employment experiences, either through our pre-employment programs or through, in some areas, previous employment as well. We focus on obtaining employment and then creating those community connections to local employment agencies as well. So getting you familiar with the agency in your area. So a little bit of history about Career Quest. It was developed and implemented as a post program in the spring of 2017 to enhance the supports available for participants who completed the Employment Works program. So we found that after that 12 weeks of the program, participants were ready to get connected to the workplace and needed some more support in that job searching access and in gaining that employment. So that's when we kind of implemented this Career Quest program. It's currently funded by the Department of Labor and Advanced Education as well, and it's open to participants who have completed a pre-employment program. So they've either completed Employment Works in the areas that Jess mentioned, or they've completed Autism Works Launchpad. So Career Quest also has two phases. Phase one focuses on 2-hour-long sessions that take place twice a week. Currently, these sessions are being held online using Zoom with up to 6 participants in each session. So currently, job seekers are job searching out of their own home or out of their employment agency or library if they are able to with COVID restrictions. Job seekers gain support in job searching and applying for jobs. And within Career Quest, the expectation is that job seekers apply for at least one job every week. Job seekers will be supported during that process to help them apply for those jobs and feel supported in the application process. So what phase one looks like, each session begins with a quick 5 to 10 minute lesson related to job searching and working, as well as a fun activity or icebreaker to get the session started. Job seekers then begin job searching and applying in breakout rooms. There will be one facilitator present to help all the job seekers navigate job searching online. And job seekers also have access to accommodations and helpful tools just to make that process feel a little bit easier. So phase two of Career Quest, this is when a job seeker becomes independent in their job searching skills. They're then connected to a local employment agency and will begin to job search at their employment agency. This may depend right now on what area you're in and the COVID restrictions, but we do focus on that connection within your community. Employment agencies are given a support document with the best strategies to support the job seeker that is discussed and talked about with the job seeker and only given with the job seeker's approval. Job seekers will continue to search for work until they gain employment. So this is really focused on getting job seekers out into the workforce. So some eligibility criteria for Career Quest. Job seekers must be 17 years or older and be either unemployed or underemployed, so that 15 hours a week or less. They must have successfully completed either Autism Works or Autism Works Launchpad and willing to actively apply for jobs and search for employment. So after an individual gets a job, we offer some additional supports in employment coaching. So I'll take you through those supports. Employment coaching supports employees as they learn a new job, understand expectations of the workplace, and build confidence and independence at work. So our employment coaches at Autism Nova Scotia are trained in providing employment-specific supports to employees on the autism spectrum. Employment coaches are hired on an as-needed basis in communities where pre-employment programs are running. This may differ from community and availability of coaches in the area, and they are not always available at the start of each employee's employment journey. Employment coaches can provide up to 3 months of support as well. So I'll kind of walk through what an employment coach can do and what they can't do. So employment coaches have provided supports in a wide range of places, including, but not limited to, government positions, kitchens and hospitality, retail, movie theaters, libraries, maintenance work, fast food, IT, accounting. So our employment coaches are able to go to a pretty diverse places of work and meet the employee with where they're at. So an employment coach will meet with the employee the week before they start their job, just to meet them, to see how they're feeling about starting the job and get an idea of any anxieties or concerns the employee might have, and also to get to know one another. The employment coach will provide strategies and tools to support the employee on the job. So this might be an accommodation like a watch, a list of job tasks, pictures of steps to complete a task, or adaptations of tasks as well. All strategies and tools that employment coaches put into place work on building the employee's confidence and independence in the job as well. Coaches might take notes during training to help the employee focus and focus kind of on the training. And they may meet with the employee's manager to discuss the strategies that are being provided in the workplace as well. They'll discuss any learning opportunities or discusses or concerns or successes throughout the shift. And they may support you or the employee in the staff room in setting the routine of returning to work after break on time, navigating small talk, or managing anxiety in those social situations. And lastly, employment coaches will support strategies around the employee's sensory concerns, how to talk to a manager, a coworker, or a customer, how to develop those self-advocating skills, and common workplace situations like unwritten rules or conflict at work and workplace expectations. So the employment coach will really work with the employee and their particular goals and needs in the workplace. Some things that an employment coach doesn't do, so they won't do any part of the employee's job for them. They won't replace their trainer, manager, or supervisor. They won't talk to your manager or supervisor for you, or for the employee, or coworkers for the employee. They won't talk to any customers for or about you. And really, most importantly, they will never disclose the employee's autism to anyone, so to a customer, supervisor, manager, or coworker. Employment coaches also won't talk to family members or friends about the employee's job and how work is going or the employee's autism. And lastly, the employment coach won't advocate for the employee, but they will support them in developing those self-advocation skills. So I've just got word that we can try playing that second video from Launchpad that we tried to play earlier. So we can give that a go and see if that works.
Hello, my name is Thomas Collier. Here at The Pearl, people with autism have the chance to sell accessories and jewelry. We are selling these products as the money will go to autism programs all across Nova Scotia. One of these programs is Launchpad, where people with autism can get experience in customer service. Check us out on our Facebook or Instagram and comment on what you'd like to buy. Thanks for listening.
Okay, so that was just a quick video demonstrating the online portion of the Pearl. So when we're running the Pearl as an online work experience, that's an example of something that participants may be working to create to help develop their customer service skills. So I'll just go quickly over some employment coach support options. So we've got a few different options available for employment coach support. So I'll actually start with the green one, the full coach support. So that's when an employment coach works with you one-on-one in the workplace. So they'll go to the workplace with you, support you for up to 3 months, and then slowly fade out of supports to make sure that you feel confident and independent in your role. The third option is coach support meetings. So this is an option that's available across the province for individuals who want an employment coach to meet with outside of the workplace. So employment coaches will meet once or twice a week virtually over Zoom for an hour to talk about your work and provide strategies to support you in areas that you feel like you might need support in or that the employee needs support in. So that might include talking to coworkers, self-advocating, asking for help, or managing a conflict at work. The employment coach will give you tools and strategies to practice while you use at work. That employment coach will not go into your work or provide support for on the job. And then that first option there is a combination of the two of them. So an employment coach may support you in your first 10 shifts on the job and then transition to off-the-job support. A quick note, in order to receive on-the-job coaching support, an individual must disclose their autism to their manager, and the individual only needs to disclose to their manager, but this is just so that when an Autism Nova Scotia staff comes into the workplace, they aren't disclosing autism for that employee. So some eligibility criteria for employment coaches. The employee must be working in a paid position, must be willing to disclose to the employer if the employee is accessing on-the-job support only. So if an employee is not comfortable disclosing to their employer, they can access that off-the-job support, but not that on-the-job support. The employee has provided 48-hour notice to us before beginning work. And a note that employment coaches are not guaranteed, but our team will work with the employee and the community supports available to ensure that a level of support is provided. Employment coaches are available for new employees or employees who are at risk of losing their position or have moved into a new position in their workplace. Okay, so we've got some contact information here for your chapter, so for individuals to connect with if you have questions or would like to reach out to them about employment supports in your area. And if you were interested or would like to know more about any of these programs, the contact information is below. So for anything with Employment Works, you can reach out to Jess. And for anything regards to Launchpad in Halifax, Career Quest, Employment Support Group, or Employment Coaching, you can reach out to myself. And if you're interested in working with autism or participating in Autism Works Launchpad Sydney, you can reach out to the facilitator, Calvin. So that contact information is at the bottom there. Okay, so now I think we have some time for questions.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Hannah and Jess, for that informative and very expansive explanation of all the different options there are for employment. We are now going to participate in a question and answer period, and I am joined, I'll introduce myself. I'm Leah Poirier. I am the Autism Support Coordinator with the Truro chapter, and I'm joined by two of my colleagues who are at the bottom of your screen there. Sam Gascoigne from the Cape Breton chapter in Sydney, and Annette, who is from our Yarmouth chapter as support coordinator. So I'm going to turn it over to you, ladies. I know that we've had some really great questions come into our Q&A, and if you'd like to take it away, Hannah and Jess can help us with those, with answering those.
I'll dive in with the first question then.
That's all right?
Great.
Yeah, so the first
Sure.
question is, what kind of employers do you partner with in pre-employment programs? So some examples of some employers this person is looking for.
That's a great question. So we try to partner with a variety of employers. We really focus on employers that have entry-level positions at their company or organization. We want the work experience to be beneficial to everyone in the group. So in the past, we've partnered with employers in the retail industry, grocery, food services, hospitality. So there has been kind of a wide variety of different work experiences that we can offer. And we also try to partner with employers who are actively hiring for those entry-level positions to increase the chances of folks in the program, seeing what it's like to work in those positions and potentially deciding to apply to a position at one of those employers after the program.
Thank you, Jess, for that. Annette, do you want to send forth the next question?
Sure. Can you define a returning graduate? So what is a returning graduate?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So a returning graduate is an individual who is in high school and then is after they've completed grade 12 is going back into high school again. So oftentimes with that year after grade 12, there's a little bit more flexibility with schedules and what that individual or student is working on at school. So sometimes we can accommodate the program hours to be completed at the same time as that returning graduate. Is there anything else that you want to add there, Jess?
No, I think you covered it. So as long as the individual is not actively attending high school, so not actively in grade 12, but if they have obviously returned after that grade 12 year for one more year in high school, then the program is open to them if it works with their schedule, as Hannah mentioned.
Great. So one of our next questions is about diagnosis and whether or not a diagnosis is necessary in order for someone to participate. And then the second half of that question is if a diagnosis is required, where does one obtain a diagnosis as an adult?
Yeah, those are some really good questions. So we encourage if someone is interested in the program to reach out to us on an individual basis, depending on the program and what program they're interested in, and we'd be happy to chat about eligibility for the program. And secondly, for where to access diagnosis within the community, we know that can be quite difficult, especially if you're an adult accessing diagnosis. And so I would encourage you to chat with your chapters about any local areas that would provide diagnosis for autism. And yeah, was there anything there that you want to add, Jess?
No, I think you covered it. If you are kind of in, that's the case for you, that you don't have a formal diagnosis, definitely please do reach out to us. And we're more than happy to kind of discuss your individual case on an individual basis. Absolutely.
Great. Thank you. Sam, do you want to field the next question?
Absolutely. So I think this is clarification on the job coaching. And the question reads, is there job coaching provided throughout the employment and check-ins with the employer that goals are being met on both sides?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So job coaching is provided for the individual kind of for up to 3 months, we typically say. So usually our job coaches are in the workplace for that 3-month duration. But again, it is individual for the person. So some individuals may only want an employment coach in the workplace for 2 weeks and may only require that level of support for 2 weeks. And others may require more support for that 3-month duration. Employment coaches do communicate with the employer, so they work to communicate both with the employer and the individual to check in that goals and expectations are being met on both ends. But employment coaches really really encourage that communication between the employer and the employee. So if one of those goals isn't being met with the employer, the employment coach will support the employer in talking to the employee about that goal and how they can reach that goal.
Okay, thank you. That's a great explanation, Hannah. And Annette, do you have a question for us next?
Yes. So some questions that are coming in are whether or not there are plans to expand Employment Works and/or Launchpad in other places of the province. Some in particular are South Shore and Antigonish areas, but I'm sure that's something that people are interested in across the province. So
that's a really good question. Jess, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we are working to continuously grow the Employment Works program and expand to different locations. We definitely encourage folks who are interested in accessing Employment Works to reach out to their local chapter to show that there is an interest in that area of the province for that program to come to that area. So I don't have details on kind of the further expansion of the program at this time. However, I definitely encourage folks to, like I said, reach out to their local chapter, and that information can be passed along to myself, which can kind of help to inform us where to move to next.
Great. And do you have another one, Sam?
Well, it was sort of a follow-up question to the previous one, and they ask if you can join another chapter virtually, which is a interesting question.
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now, the program is open to folks in those areas that the program would be offered to in person. So like I said, Annapolis Valley, Truro, and Pictou County. That is because of the phase 2 portion of the program, and that is individualized to each person in the program, but often can consist of individual meetings with a facilitator to work on their employment goals further. So at this time, we are only accepting folks who are in those areas of the province where the program is offered at this time.
Terrific. Annette, you're up next.
So again, a similar question, but with regards to Career Quest, again, just wondering whether or not that's offered outside of HRM or what the future might look like for that program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question. So Career Quest is currently available to folks in HM or who have completed that Employment Works post program or Employment Works program. And the reason for that is the pre-employment skills are built up and then they're ready to start applying and moving on to that kind of next phase of the employment journey. But like Jess mentioned, if that is a need and a want in your community, reach out to your chapter so that they know that's a need and a want in the community and they can pass that information along to us. But right now it is just available for folks in HRM or in those 3 locations that Autism or that Employment Works is located, and for those folks who have completed that program of Employment Works.
Thank you for that. Sam, any others on your list?
We have a question. Yes, we got a few more going here. This is wonderful.
I love the questions. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is an interesting one. They're looking for ideas on what to do if they live in an area that doesn't offer an employment program through Autism Nova Scotia.
Yeah, good question.
That's a great question. I would say the first step would be to reach out to the local chapter in their area and express interest in accessing employment supports through Autism Nova Scotia. But in the meantime, kind of the second step there would be to connect to their local Nova Scotia Works Employment Agency, as the agencies offer a wide variety of employment support, including workshops, working on cover letters, resumes, as well as case managers. So first step, connect with the chapter. Second step, connect with their local Nova Scotia Works Employment Agency.
That's helpful. Again, we all desire these programs to be offered everywhere across Nova Scotia, recognizing how valuable they are. Annette, do you have another question to share?
Yes. So before entering the program, would participants receive a list of which employers that they'll be working with during the program?
That's a great question.
Do you want to go, Jess?
I'll start off, Hannah, and then I'll throw it over to you in case you have anything to add. So typically, we, for the Employment Works program, we release information about employers that we're partnering with on typically about a 3-week basis. We do this for a couple of reasons. One, and the most kind of prominent reason, is because we like to get to know the folks in the current group. And so we don't secure all of the employers before the program actually starts, because we want to really try to tailor the program to the folks that are participating at that time. So we leave the last 1 or 2 employers open for the beginning of the program, just so we can see what areas folks are interested in learning more about. And Hannah, if you have anything to add, feel free to.
No, I would say
in.
the same for Launchpad as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I guess one last thing I would just add is we don't release a list at the beginning just because we want folks to focus on kind of what employer is coming up next, and not look too far in advance to the end of the program, and just kind of focus on the employer that we're going to currently, and then we'll release that information every couple of weeks.
That's terrific. And just to kind of follow up on that a little bit, there is a question related to job coaching environments and their suitability for people with autism. And the example given was, is there consideration given to workplaces that are not too fast paced or wouldn't have a lot of sensory, high stimulation issues in those environments?
Mm-hmm. So in terms of job coaching is deployed once the employee has gained employment and whatever that kind of employment they see best fit for them. So job coaches in general will go into kind of any employer that that we can arrange, and will work within that employment site. In terms of if an individual is wondering about employers that are sensory friendly or kind of have that that different pace or maybe not as fast pace of an environment, that's something that, it would be really great for them to explore. And it does really depend, we find, on an individual basis. Something that may be kind of overstimulating for one individual might not be for another individual. So that's something that, in our pre-employment programs, we definitely work with that individual to kind of help them look at what workplace feels right for them. And I'm not sure if that answered the question, if it was more about job coaching or if it was more about finding the right fit of employer. So let me know if I'm heading in the wrong direction.
Probably a good bit of feedback for all programs in terms of their, that attention to the environment.
Mm-hmm. We do with our pre-employment programs as well. I'll mention that we definitely consider the environments that individuals are going into, and we definitely would never go to an employer that would be a very high sensory or overloading area if that's something that our participants at that time wouldn't be a good fit for. So like Jess said, we like to tailor the employers depending on kind of the participants that are coming into the program.
Terrific. Sam, another question to put forth?
Yes, so earlier you spoke a little bit about the intake process. So participation's coming on board, and this viewer was looking for just a bit of information on what that intake application process looks like.
Absolutely. So for most of our programs, I should say for most of our pre-employment programs, we just ask that folks that are interested either reach out to us directly or reach out to their local chapter, who can then connect them to either Hannah or myself or Calvin and Sydney. And so the first step would be to complete an application form or a pre-screen form. And returning a completed application or pre-screen form would reserve a spot for the individual in the program. And then after that, we reach out to the individual and we schedule an intake meeting to complete the rest of the registration forms. And so during those intake meetings, sometimes they can be a little lengthy if there's quite a few questions. So we do give the option to just let us know at any point during the intake if they've kind of had enough. Then we can stop for that day and schedule kind of a follow-up to finish that registration for the program that they're interested in. Hannah, if you want to add anything, please do.
Nope, I think you nailed it there, Jess.
That's great. And Annette?
So another one is, do you provide employment coaches for volunteer opportunities by chance?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So and coaches offered through Autism Nova Scotia are just provided for those paid employment opportunities. So that wouldn't include volunteer opportunities or a school co-op, for example. So yeah, our employment coaches are just available for individuals who have secured that paid employment opportunity.
And another question is related to someone who's got a current casual job and they're wondering if they can join Career Quest in order to seek something that's more full-time.
Yeah, for sure. So that would be available for individuals who are working in that casual position 15 hours or less. And we know oftentimes those casual positions aren't full-time jobs. So if you are working in that casual position and it's 15 hours or less, then you would definitely be eligible to join that Career Quest program.
Yes, someone's saying that they have previous work experience, but even so, would a pre-employment program be okay for them, even with some work experience?
Definitely. So we do have folks that come into pre-employment programs that have some past experience, and we also have folks that haven't had past work experience before. So there's definitely a range of experiences for the folks coming in. We do tailor the program to folks on kind of either end of the work experience, so folks that don't have any or folks that do. And we just kind of have a discussion with the individual during the intake process to ensure that what we offer in the program is really what they're looking for at that time, to ensure that the program is suitable to kind of their needs at that time.
For that participant that may have that previous work experience, I would have them think about kind of some of those topics that were listed in the program that we cover, and think if those are topics that would benefit them in their employment journey as well. And if they're not sure, they can always reach out and find more out from us as well.
Definitely.
Terrific. Annette, do you have anything else?
Yeah, so we have one here, just wondering with regards to your employment coaches, just kind of wondering what supports, accommodations might they provide on the job placement.
Yeah, some examples of previous supports or accommodations that might be supplied. Some really common ones are visuals in the workplace to help make things more clear. They'll also work on schedules or task lists, checklists to help with that process of completing tasks. They work with each individual as well. So we know that an accommodation that works for somebody may not work for somebody else. So your employment coach will really tailor whatever accommodations they're providing in the workplace to the needs of that individual. An example might be a visual for handing back cash, or another example might be a timer that they might add into the workplace, or an alarm to help them stay on task or transition from tasks. That's definitely not an exhaustive list. And if there's something that you feel like in the workplace you would really benefit from, that's a conversation you could have with your coach, and they could support you in finding the best accommodation and resource for you to be successful in the workplace.
Thanks very much. Any other questions? Sam, do you have another?
Yeah, one came in about PDPP programs, a pilot program for Autism Nova Scotia. So if you could explain what that is. And their question is, does this also work with these programs?
Yeah, good question. Jess, do you want to answer that one, or would you prefer I do?
I'll give it a try. So I'm not too well versed in explaining the PDPP program. I can definitely field the last part of that question in terms of sometimes, say for example, an individual identifies employment as a goal that they want to work on within the PDPP program, then they may be connected to either myself or Hannah or Calvin, depending on their location, if a pre-employment program is offered in their area. Hannah, are you able to explain a bit about the PDPP program?
Yeah, I can take a stab at it. Jess and I are certainly not the experts in person-directed planning program. So if you do have further questions, reach out to Autism Nova Scotia, and I'm sure they'll be able to provide a better explanation. But PDPP stands for Person-Directed Planning Program, and you'll work with a facility or with a team to identify your goals and kind of the steps that you need to take to achieve those goals. So this program works with the individual, and as well any support members that they would like to be included as well. So that might look like a family member or a friend as well, who they've wanted to include along that goal planning journey. But I do really encourage you to reach out to Autism Nova Scotia, and in particular to the folks that are kind of running the PDPP program for more information, because I know that was not the best explanation that we could have gave for it.
I will just add one more point. Through the PDPP program, the facilitator can support that individual to access supports and resources within their community that may relate to some of their goals that they have identified that they want to work on. So like Hannah said, definitely please reach out and either us or the coordinators at the chapters can definitely connect you to one of the team members of the PDPP program.
I think you answered that very well. We do often very frequently have crossover between the different programs that we offer. It's not uncommon for someone who's in Employment Works to then join the Healthy Relationships, Sexuality, and Autism program, and then the Person-Directed Planning program. So those sorts of things are certainly welcomed, I would say.
Definitely.
Any other questions, ladies, that you picked up from the chat? Don't know if I saw any others. I think that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for such thoughtful and really well-articulated questions. And I thank everyone who's participated on this panel. And just to conclude things for us here tonight, I'm going to send the mic over to my colleague, Willa Cray, who's the Autism Support Coordinator for the Pictou County chapter.
Thank you so much, Hannah and Jess, for taking time to educate us on all these employment supports and resources within Nova Scotia. As Hannah and Jess mentioned in their presentation, I think it's imperative to restate the importance of individuals seeking employment to determine on their own accord which career path they would like to follow and then utilize the supports they need. Also, Career Quest being a follow-up program is equally important, providing supports and navigation with job searching and applying for positions in the work field. Again, I would like to thank the ladies for sharing their knowledge and wisdom with us tonight. We greatly appreciate both of you volunteering, along with the time you've invested to prepare and provide this presentation. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the audience for attending and for their participation. And just a reminder that our chapter coordinators are always available to offer assistance and support to autistics across the lifespan, along with their families and caregivers, as well as professionals. Please watch your email for a short evaluation survey. It only takes a moment or two, and your feedback on tonight's session will help us to make future sessions even better. We are asking that you also participate in the poll presented here at this session. The next topic we will be presenting is about social skills, and the date for this will be sometime in March. It hasn't been finalized yet, but we will let everybody know. I would like to wish everyone a good night and hope to see you at the next provincial education session.